Minglaba and welcome to MI Radio's Myanmar Today. I'm Michelle with the recent news and reports from around Myanmar. Thora Suzin got the latest report on State Counsellor mentions Yangon can handle COVID-19 only with individuals' cooperation. Thora Suzin will give us all the details on 3 annual mandatory bills approved at Second Pyidaungsu Hluttaw's 17th regular section. Sueman and Soyadana also have the story on systematic plans made to enable government machinery not to be disrupted. Pyotherido has the full story on fitness industry operation amid pandemic. All of these reports will be coming up on Myanmar Today, but for now, let's take a look at what's happening in local news. The third meeting of the Investment Promotion Committee, led by Union Minister for Investments and Foreign Economic Relations and Chairman of Myanmar Investment Commission, Hluttaw, was held via video conference yesterday. The meeting was attended by the members of Investment Promotion Committee, Deputy Minister and Permanent Secretaries of the ministry concerned, as well as the Secretary of IPC, members of the 5 task forces, and observers from the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA. Union Minister Hluttaw noted the important role of the IPC and its 5 task forces. He stressed the need to respond effectively to the impact of COVID-19 by establishing the industrial zones, promoting investment in agro-based industry, which support the whole supply chain, health-related product manufacturing, and the digitizations of the economy. He also underlined the need to review the Myanmar Investment Promotion Plan in the coming years in the light of the adverse effects of the COVID-19 pandemic on the economy. A total of 70 IPC members and representatives of ministries concerned participated in the virtual meeting. The 22nd Myanmar Airways International's relief flight transported 107 Myanmar nationals stranded abroad from Incheon International Airport, the Republic of Korea, to Yangon International Airport on Tuesday evening. Among them, 1 Myanmar national was from Belgium, 4 each from Brazil, Indonesia, Italy, UK, and Vietnam, 1 each from Israel and Norway, and 3 from Mongolia, 71 from Republic of Korea, and 10 from the US. The Ministry of Labor, Immigration and Population, the Ministry of Health and Sports, and the local officials had the returnees for health inspections and arranged for proper 14-day quarantine at the hotels or at the designated places, and also for a 7-day home quarantine. For the repatriations of Myanmar citizens who were stranded in foreign countries by relief flights and charter flights, in accordance with the instructions from National Level Central Committee on Prevention and Control of COVID-19. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs cooperated with the relevant ministries and Myanmar embassies from respective countries and has brought back 15,225 citizens to date. And that's all with the local news. Now we'll move on to our first report. State Counsellor Daw Aung San Suu Kyi reported the current situation of COVID-19 spread in Yangon through television, and she mentions that if residents in Yangon obey the rules and regulations exactly for 2 or 3 weeks, it is supported in curbing the spread of the virus. She called for the cooperation of the individuals in Yangon to show a good example in fight against the disease.
After the resurgence of COVID-19 in Rakhine State, the infection rate is getting higher, reaching over 2,500. Although the condition in Sittwe and other parts of Rakhine State are gradually stable, the virus spread in Yangon is getting worse. In her capacity as chairperson of National Level Central Committee on Prevention, Control and Treatment of COVID-19, State Counsellor Daw Aung San Suu Kyi delivered a televised speech regarding need for strict compliance with directives in order to contain the spread of the virus. Respective regulations and instructions, including stay-at-home order, instruction on restaurants to provide only takeaway service, ban on domestic travel, and a ban on mass gatherings are issued in Yangon region. And the state councillor mentioned if the residents obeyed these restrictions strictly for 2 or 3 weeks, it would be possible to arrive at a situation when this disease would be under control.
Yangon နဲ့ပတ်သက်လို့ဆိုလို့ရှိရင်အဓိကအရေးကတော့အသွားလာကန့်သတ်ဖို့ပါပဲလူစုလူဝေးတွေမဖြစ်ပေါ်ပါပဲအားလုံးကနေပြီးတော့ခက်ခွာခွာနေမယ်
For Yangon, the main thing is to impose travel restrictions and to prevent public gatherings. All need to practice social distancing. The pandemic could be controlled if the individuals follow the simple guidelines for wearing masks, gloves, and staying 6 feet apart in minima from each other. We also noticed that the rules for preventing public gatherings have impacts on the livelihood of the people, and that the government has adopted plans to provide support to the public and has been implementing them as well. We will continue to work as needed. Due to the outbreak of COVID-19 and the restrictions, the daily routines have been affected. The more our people abide by the rules, the faster we could lift the restrictions.
The infection spread in Yangon as well as in the whole country is faster than the rate of infection spread in March and April earlier on. The fatality rate is also increasing, and even people in the prime of life without underlying diseases died from COVID-19. The disease is spreading in Yangon with a faster pace in comparing with that of other areas. So it is mentioned that the authorities from other areas will conduct medical tests to those who come from the Yangon region, and the visitors will have to stay under quarantine.
ဒီအချိန်မှာတော့ငြိမ်ငြိမ်လေးနဲ့ကိုယ့်အိမ်မှာကိုယ်နေနိုင်သမျှနေတာအကောင်းဆုံးပါပဲ
It is better for all people in Yangon to stay at home. There will be a question regarding shopping for household commodities. It is the unavoidable issue. People need to go to the market. However, they need to strictly follow the rules at the markets. Legal actions will be taken for violation of the rules. The law is not for punishing the citizens, but for ensuring the stability and tranquility of the society by containing the widespread of the virus. So we say that those who violated the rules and regulations concerned will be charged under natural disaster management law, since this law is more severe than the communicable diseases law. Only severe legal action will be able to control the spread of COVID-19. We always issue instructions to let the general public know what our objective is and what we want them to do. We want the general public to thoroughly observe the instructions.
The state councillor mentioned that just like the matter in Rakhine State, there is no reason that the disease cannot be under control. The cooperation of the public following the rules and regulations is the most important effort that put Yangon forward's better situation.
ကျွန်တော်တို့ပြည်သူတွေရဲ့နှလုံးသားတွေကမြို့တော်ကြီးကဘာဖြစ်လို့ဒီကိစ္စကိုအောင်မြင်မြင်မဆောင်ရွက်နိုင်ရမှာလဲအဲ့ဒါကိုစူးစမ်းကြပါ
There is no reason that the city in the hearts of the citizens cannot handle this issue successfully. I want you to make strenuous efforts. All people need to abide by the rules and regulations, which are not difficult to follow. And it is also not difficult for the general public to understand why the rules and regulations were laid down. So please follow the rules. Don't get deeply concerned, but you can never be too cautious. So always be cautious. We will make efforts as much as possible in order to reach the situation in which we can relax the restrictions. But in making efforts, the role of general public is very important. As I have said frequently, only if the general public cooperates with us, the efforts will be successful.
ပြည်သူတွေတာရင်အဓိကပါပြည်သူတွေပါဝင်မှကျမတို့ရဲ့ကြိုးစားမှုတွေဟာ အောင်မြင်နိုင်မှာဖြစ်ပါတယ်
That's a report on State Councillor mentions Yangon can handle COVID-19 only with individual cooperation. National Planning Bill, Union Budget Bill, and 2020 Union Taxation Bill, which are the mandatory bills to be approved annually, were successful to seek approval for the coming 2020 to 2021 fiscal year during the 17th regular session of Second Pyidaungsu Hluttaw held from 13 July to 28 August.
The 17th regular session of Second Pyidaungsu Hluttaw approved 3 mandatory bills, including National Planning Bill, Union Budget Bill, and 2020 Union Taxation Bill for the coming 2020-2021 fiscal year starting from 1st of October. On the 14th day of the regular session held on 28th of August, Joint Secretary of the Joint Bill Committee, Dr. Myanmar Today, from Yangon Region Constituency 3, submitted the proposal to approve the provisions of 2020 Union Taxation Bill, and Deputy Minister for Planning, Finance and Industry Win proposed to approve the whole bill, after which the Pyidaungsu Hluttaw approved the 2020 Union Taxation Bill. Deputy Minister Win said.
ဒေသဘာလို့နိုင်ကိုင်းခင်ဗျာယနေ့ကျင်းပပြုလုပ်တဲ့ဒုတိယကြိမ်ပြည်ထောင်စုလွှတ်တော်18ကြိမ်မြောက်ပုံမှန်အစည်းအဝေး14ရက်မြောက်နေ့မှာလည်းပဲဥပဒေကျမ်းပါအကြောင်းအရာများနဲ့ဆက်လျင်းပြီးတပိုက်ချင်းစီလိုက်
At today's regular session meeting, the provisions of the bill were discussed, clarified, and then approved. So, as per Article 91A of Pyidaungsu Hluttaw, it is requested through the Speaker to approve 2020 Union Taxation Bill by the Pyidaungsu Hluttaw in accord with the discussion stand.
The 2020 Union Taxation Bill was submitted to Pyidaungsu Hluttaw on the 13th of July, and the findings on the bill by the Joint Bill Committee were submitted on 5th of August. The Hluttaw representatives presented the corrections to the principles and taxation rate. Concerning the requested corrections, the meeting was held on 26th of August together with Pyidaungsu Hluttaw Joint Bill Committee, Joint Public Accounts Committee, Hluttaw representatives proposing the corrections, Ministry of Planning, Finance and Industry, Ministry of Commerce, Ministry of Construction, the Office of Union Attorney General, and UMFCCI. Another bill, 2020-2021 Union Budget Bill, was also approved by the Hluttaw after the submission, discussion, and clarification on the provisions concerning legal matters, income, and expenditure. On the 12th day of Second Pyidaungsu Hluttaw 17th regular session, the 2020-2021 National Planning Bill was submitted by Joint Secretary of Joint Bill Committee, Dr. Myanmar Today, for the approval of each session concerning legal figures and planning projects. Uti Kumya, Speaker of Pyidaungsu Hluttaw, said.
2020-2021 ဘဏ္ဍာနဲ့အမျိုးသားစီမံကိန်းဥပဒေကြမ်းနဲ့ဆက်လင်းပြီးလွှတ်တော်ကဆုံးဖြတ်ထားတဲ့အတိုင်းဥပဒေကြမ်းတစ်ရပ်လုံးကိုအတည်ပြု
According to the agreement of all the representatives, it was announced to approve the whole bill on 2020 to 2021 national planning in line with the decisions by the Pyidaungsu Hluttaw.
The 17th regular session of Second Pyidaungsu Hluttaw was held from 13th of July to 28th of August, during which Animal Health and Breeding Development Bill, National Library Bill, Amendment Bill on Public Debt Management, and Amendment Bill on Individual Freedom and Personal Safety of the Citizens were approved.
That's a report on 3 annual mandatory bills approved at Second Pyidaungsu Hluttaw's 17th regular session. Stay with us as we bring you more reports on Myanmar Today. Together with the resurgence of the COVID-19, the respective governmental departments providing public service are carrying out the processes to prevent their employees from the spread of the virus. The National Level Central Committee on Prevention, Control and Treatment of COVID-19 instructed all governmental offices to run only with half of the workforce starting from 9th September.
Although domestic infections are certainly surging in the country now, the respective governmental departments providing public service are making systematic plans to ensure their employees not to be infected with the virus and to enable the government machinery not to be disrupted due to the effect of the virus. Due to the rapid resurgence of COVID-19 infection in the country, the National Level Central Committee on Prevention, Control and Treatment of COVID-19 instructed all offices to run with half of the staffs on 9th September. According to this instruction, the offices are now running with only half of the workforce starting from 9th September, although they started with the full strength of staff on 1st June. Uyeto 9, Director of Department of Consumer Affairs of the Ministry of Commerce said.
50ရာခိုင်နှုန်းဆိုပေမဲ့ပထမဆုံးကျွန်တော်တို့ ferry တွေပြီးနေရရှိတယ်။အဲ့တော့ ferry တွေကျွန်တော်တို့ပထမဆုံးကတော့50ရာခိုင်
We are instructed to work with 50% of the staff, but there are ferries running. Those who are coming to work by bus are instructed to stay at home, and they include 50% of the staff. We have to supervise them to stay at home and not to go out. There are also essential staff that have to go to the office, and they are placed at our dormitories, and the special ferries have to be arranged. Those who have been living in the staff quarters and those coming with the office ferries are no problem with the social distancing because they have already known them. Those coming by buses are told not to take buses for the first step. We will arrange hostels for them, and there may be some difficulties during this pandemic.
For the time being, the staffs who are dealing with the passengers surely need to protect themselves from virus risks. Moreover, performing preventive measures and informing the rules to the public are now being carried out. Uzo Taiwan, Chief Ticketing Officer of Yangon Railway Station, said.
ကျွန်တော်တို့အခုလက်ရှိဒုတိယ line မှာပေါ့နော်ဟိုအားလုံးကကြောက်နေပေါ့နော်ဟိုဝန်ထမ်းတွေလည်းကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီရုံးခန်းဆိုရင်
We all are afraid of the resurgence of the COVID-19 right now. In our office, only male staffs are working with the passengers. Actually, I am worried about ticketing staffs in case they might be infected with virus. If one of us might be infected with the virus, we cannot blame it on anyone. Our staffs are working their duties as per instructions. We are performing the preventive measures including checking body temperatures, social distancing of 3 feet apart, and instructing the staffs and the passengers to wear masks not only at the station but also on the trains. We also demonstrate how to wear masks on the trains. I also instructed my staffs to wear masks when serving duties and to follow the rules from authorities. We also donate the masks to the passengers.
The plan of half workforce is being adopted not only in the governmental offices but also in other workplaces. Similarly, the Board of Trustees of Shwe Takong Pagoda, comprising more than 300 staffs, including security guards, has accepted this plan of half workforce. Upo Te, member of Shwe Takong Pagoda Board of Trustees, said.
ဒါပေမဲ့တစ်ခါကလည်းကျွန်တော်တို့ကဒီ COVID ကိုကာကွယ်မှုအနေနဲ့ကျွန်တော်တို့ဝန်ထမ်းတွေကို labor တွေကိုကျွန်တော်တို့ကဒီခုနပြော
As part of preventive measures against COVID-19, we did not hire some workers living very far away who are taking buses in, came here by taking bus in. We only employed the workers who can stay at our camp. Although this is the famous religious site, we have to follow the rules issued by the government systematically. Our staffs come from various parts of Yangon, and some staff takes our ferry and some take buses. Therefore, we gave temporarily retirement to some staff that came here by bus, and we had to give priority to those who are coming by ferry.
Due to increasing number of locally transmitted cases of COVID-19, all government staffs from offices of the states and regions, including Naypyidaw Council, are carrying out their respective duties at offices with half of the workforce. The remaining half is staying at the designated staff quarters, hostels, and houses together with duty. If needed, they must prepare to come to the offices in time to serve duties. If a staff suspects infected himself with the virus, the Ministry of Health and Sports must be informed of the infection through official concern, and he must follow necessary health tests and guidelines.
That's the report on systematic plans made to enable government machinery not to be disrupted. Since the pandemic has entered into Myanmar, the government introduced the restrictions effectively to close many businesses. But in the first week of June, some businesses, including the fitness centers, are permitted to reopen as there were no local transmissions for a while. But the rate of local transmissions have resurged again during the August. Many fitness centers have shut down their operation.
The gym culture has become popular in Myanmar starting around 2013 and 2014, though it can be said that it is the peak period of fitness industry, but a fitness center can be easily seen in every corner of the street in Yangon during recent years. Since the pandemic has entered into Myanmar, the government introduced the restrictions effectively to close many businesses. But in the first week of June, some businesses, including the fitness centers, are permitted to reopen as there were no local transmissions for a while. But the rate of local transmissions have resurged again during August. Many fitness centers have shut down their operation. Speaking to MI Radio, Mak Kaimya Mo, a gym enthusiast, shared her opinion on the fitness sector right now.
The gym I used to go has been closed for 2 months in the early occurrence of the coronavirus. When the situations were a bit stable in June and July, the gym also reopened. But shortly after that, the gyms were closed again, and we don't know when they will reopen. And I think the operation of the fitness center in this situation is a bit risky because most of the gyms were closed indoor. I appreciate the online classes served by the gyms, but for me, it is different in effectiveness playing at the gym and watching the demonstration contents and trying to do like that. Personally, I prefer doing the physical exercises in gym rather than trying at home with a demo video.
Despite the closure of the gyms, Training Ground Myanmar, one of the premium class gyms in the fitness industry of Yangon, is still opening their operation except the group fitness classes. Jonathan Austria, Assistant General Manager of Training Ground Myanmar, has 16 years of experience also as a trainer and a manager in the fitness industry. He told MI Radio about the operation of a fitness center amid the COVID-19.
The government didn't really announce yet about closing the gym. We are not opening for the business. We are opening for the help of the people. If government come and ask me to close, it's a rule, so we will close, no problem. But as long we give hope to other fitness industry that we can manage and operate the gym in this kind of situation, so it will create a positive energy to them. After COVID first lockdown, the people get concerned to get healthy, to get strong. That's why 1st June, July, we achieve our target. On August, September, we go down to 30%. We try to operate with safety measure. We clean our equipment every hour, and we measure all the people coming in the gym because this situation is so risky. So we try to have a travel history form on the reception. In case there's emergency coming, like one case came up from our gym. So we will find out easily because we decide to open. We decide also to measure the safety of our staff, and we make sure that our facilities is really clean. If you come to the gym, we try to sanitize every hour.
After the early occurrence of COVID-19, the people get concerned more to get healthy and strong. So the sales were good in June and July in the fitness industry. But in August and September, the sales went down to the 30% of target. Andy William Hong, also known as Andy, is standing as a celebrity trainer and a television personality in the fitness industry in Myanmar since 2013. He spoke to MI Radio how the pandemic transformed the stakeholders in the fitness industry.
I've been closing my training for since March. So been a long time. We all know that in this pandemic, COVID-19, to prevent that, you need to build up the immune system. So fitness is really an essential part of everybody's life. During the pandemic time, the gym need to close, but you cannot hold their trainers. If you hold trainers, you need to pay the salaries. So most of the small gyms right now closing down, and they can do anything. Yeah, I think this pandemic can change a lot of business, especially the fitness industry. The fitness center needs to be closed. The people need to do exercise and work out. So the only thing we want to switch to the digital platform like Facebook Live, Zoom meeting, the virtual training. People, they know it. Health is more important than anything after this pandemic. So fitness industry is very good for the future, but we need to have a very thin line between to do the business and how to give the people the perfect healthy lifestyle. But now I think it's the best way is to stay home. When you go out, wear mask.
Fitness industry will be successful a lot because the people understand how healthy is important than other things. So the fitness industry will succeed after this, according to Jonathan.
That's a report on fitness industry operation amid pandemic. And that's all we have for today's report. And it's time to check on some international news here on Myanmar Today. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson lashed out at the European Union on Monday after he won initial approval for a bill that would break the withdrawal agreement with the bloc, saying the move was needed because the EU has refused to take a revolver off the table in trade talks. Johnson won the so-called second reading parliamentary vote on the Internet Market Bill by 340 votes to 263. A wrecking amendment was defeated shortly beforehand, though more will follow as he faces a growing rebellion in his party. The EU says Johnson's bill will kill trade talks, while former UK leaders have warned that it breaks international law and it's a step too far, which undermines the country's image. Wu Kuijian, the chief biosecurity expert from China's Center for Disease Control and Prevention, said on Monday that ordinary Chinese residents could start receiving COVID-19 vaccines as early as November, adding that the current phase 3 clinical trials have been going smoothly. China has been leading the world in research and development of a vaccine against COVID-19. 9 vaccines have entered phase 3 of clinical trials around the world, and 5 of them are being developed by China, according to Wu. Experts from the Health Commission departments are now intensively reviewing production workshops. 2 have passed examination and approval, and a 3rd is being evacuated. More than 30 novel coronavirus vaccines worldwide have entered the clinical trial stage, 9 of which have entered the phase 3 clinical trial stage. Iran warned the U.S. on Tuesday against making a strategic mistake after the U.S. President Donald Trump threatened Tehran over reports it planned to avenge the killing of top general Qasem Soleimani. We hope that they do not make a new strategic mistake, and certainly in the case of any strategic mistake, they will witness Iran's decisive response. Iranian government spokesman Ali Raibei told a televised news conference. A U.S. media report, quoting a named official, said that an alleged Iranian plot to assassinate the U.S. ambassador to South Africa was planned before the U.S. presidential election in November. Any attack by Iran in any form against the United States will be met with an attack on Iran that will be 1,000 times greater in magnitude, Trump wrote on Twitter on Monday. And that's all we have for today. Thank you very much for joining me on Myanmar Today. I'm Michelle. Have a good day. I'll see you next time.